because they also wanted a semblance of democracy.
Within months, Glyndwr had summoned the first ever Welsh Parliament.
Gyfeillion, yn rhy hir mae'r Cymru wedi dod e gormes y Sais.
It was held in the town of Machynlleth, and it was attended not only by delegates from various parts of Wales, but also by emissaries from Scotland, France and Castille. As these observers looked on, the delegates debated the key issues confronting their country. Nothing quite like it had ever happened in Welsh history. After Glyndwr's fall, nothing like it would happen again for almost 600 years.
Edrych ymlaen I ddyfodol llewyrchus.
What happened here in Machynlleth was one of the pivotal moments in the history of Wales and a vivid demonstration of how far Owain Glyndwr had come. The highlight of the gathering was his official coronation as Prince of Wales. It was a huge, colourful ceremony held in the open air, and we can only guess at the kind of impact it must have had, not least on the foreign observers who were present, ready to report back to their respective governments. Of course, what no one knew was that the military campaign which had brought Owain to this point was about to go disastrously wrong.
By 1405, things started to fall apart for Glyndwr, and the little village of Grossmont in Monmouthshire, then a fortified English-run town, was the place where his troubles began. That February, a large but ill-disciplined Welsh force, made up mainly of men from South Wales, stormed the town's castle. They expected it to be defended by a small garrison, but Prince Hywel, the other Prince of Wales, had got wind of the attack, and he'd packed the building with good troops. Suspecting nothing, the Welsh charged in, and they paid a heavy price. Around 800 Welshmen are thought to have lost their lives. Hundreds more must have been taken prisoner by their English opponents. Two months later, in the nearby town of Usk, came an even greater disaster for Glyndwr. As many as 1,500 Welshmen are thought to have died this time in a botched attempt to wrest the town's castle from English hands. Tragically for Glyndwr, his brother Tudur was among the dead. Just as seriously, his son Griffith, who'd led the assault, was captured and sent to the Tower of London, where he later died.
What caused the defeat of the Welsh here at Usk? No one knows for certain. One suggestion is that the English defenders took the Welsh by surprise, charging out at them as soon as they arrived and slaughtering them as they fled. But we can be certain of one thing: Glyndwr doesn't seem to have been deflected by this defeat. He still had his goal of an independent Wales, and he still had those vital alliances with the Mortimers and the Percys.
Glyndwr now sealed his relationship with these key allies by entering into the secret agreement known to historians as the Tripartite Indenture. The terms of the agreement were set out in a document signed by three men: Glyndwr, Sir Edmund Mortimer, and the Earl of Northumberland, head of the Percy dynasty. It committed them all to making a do-or-die attempt to dethrone Henry IV. That's important enough, of course, but what fascinates people about this document 600 years on is the extraordinary vision it contains of what Britain would have been like had the plan worked.
The declared aim in this agreement was that northern and north-central England should be Percys, and south and southeast England would be Mortimers, and then all of Wales and a good stretch of England should be Owain Glyndwr's.
Wales would have extended almost to Nottingham, which is, well, not quite Nottingham, but way beyond Wolverhampton. I'm not sure it's an awfully good idea. But it certainly did suggest how very bold some of the ideas of Owain Glyndwr were.
My lords, a sealed compact.
Just think about it. Two small Englands and a great big Wales. What a difference that would have made to the last 600 years. Today, of course, to most people, it sounds ludicrous, but it would be a very serious mistake to think that this plan never stood a chance. Glyndwr and his allies were very determined, and they had a very powerful backer, someone who was willing to give them practical support. His name was Charles VI, and he was King of France.
Charles had been courted by Glyndwr and his allies for some time, and he'd come to see them as worthy partners in a grand alliance to overthrow Henry IV. In the summer of 1405, the king dispatched a fleet of ships to Wales, each one packed with armed men. The troops disembarked on the Pembrokeshire coast and immediately linked up with a big army commanded by Owain Glyndwr. Over the next fortnight, the resulting Franco-Welsh force attacked English-dominated towns across South Wales. And then, towards the end of August, its members are thought to have taken an even bolder step. They marched, we believe, onto English soil.
Now, there's no actual proof that this invasion took place, but it is mentioned in one chronicle of the time, and the chronicler tells us that the Franco-Welsh force got as far as this point, which is the Teme Valley in Worcestershire, and he describes how the French and the Welsh were in their camp over there on Woodbury Hill, and over here on Aberley Hill were Henry IV and his men, directly across the valley. What happened next, we're told, is a kind of stalemate. Neither side wanted to make the first move. There was a sort of medieval Mexican standoff, if you like, and it lasted 8 days.
Eventually, Henry IV withdrew to the safety of nearby Worcester. We don't know why. It's a bit of a mystery. And if we believe the story, this was also the moment the Franco-Welsh force decided to give up.
Did it really happen like that? Well, we don't know. It may be that the French and the Welsh didn't come this far, but I have to say that folk memory in this part of the world suggests that they did, and there are certainly people in this area who say they can trace their ancestry back to the invading force. Whatever. What we can say for certain is that if the French and the Welsh got this far, they got no further, and this was the absolute limit of Glyndwr's advance.